Hello and welcome to this recording in which we will be looking at how we can use index numbers as part of our forecasting techniques. When we look at a series of data which is increasing over a period of time, for example our sales data, we would easily assume that that increase in sales is due to increased activity on the part of the business. However, it may be that that increase in sales is purely due to an increase in the selling price, and that increase in selling price may be due to inflation. To determine if this is the case, what we can do is deflate the data, and to do that we use index numbers. Then we can use the adjusted data with the effect of inflation removed and analyse that for any increases which would then be due to activity. The two most commonly used index numbers are the Retail Price Index, abbreviated to RPI, and the Consumer Price Index, abbreviated to CPI. You can access those on the government website www.statistics.gov.uk. So we're going to have a look at an example and how we can use the index numbers. So here we have a company, JT Snow Limited, and they have a time series, a series of data over time. The data is sales revenue and it is over a 5-year time period. So looking at the sales revenue, 2010, £768,000, increasing year on year, 821,000, 844,000, 858,000 until in 2014 we reached 869,000. So initially, looking at these figures, it would appear that our sales have been increasing year on year. Is this due to increased activity on the part of the business, or is it due to inflation? We also have, for the same time period, a Consumer Price Index. So these are our index numbers. So what we're going to do is use those index numbers to deflate our figures. So in other words, take away the effects of inflation. So to do this, we will start with our sales figures, which was 768. Now we're going to convert these prices to 2010 prices. So in effect what we are doing is for each year subsequently to 2010 we are going to remove the effects of inflation that have taken place. So all of our sales figures will be expressed as if they had happened in 2010. So this means that our first figure does not change. So it remains at 768. The sales in 2011, if we want to take them back, so take away the effects of inflation between 2010 and 2011, the method is to multiply the sales figure by the index number for 2010, which is 100, and divide it by the index for 2011, which is 106. And that gives us a sales figure of 775. So what this is telling us that if we take away the effects of inflation between 2010 and 2011, our sales figure is 775. Moving on to 2012, we multiply it by the index for 2010. We divide it by the index for 2012. For 2013, we multiply it by the index for 2010, divide it by the index for 2013. And for 2014, multiply by the index for 2010 and divide by the index for 2014. Because we decided to deflate all these figures, so take away the effects of inflation and convert them all to 2010 prices, so as if those sales had happened in 2010, we are multiplying each figure by the index for 2010. And then we divide each figure by the index that relates to that particular year. So we've always multiplied by the index for 2010 and we've divided by the index that relates to that particular year. 2010 is referred to as the base year because we've taken all the figures back to 2010 prices. Now, if we look at our sales, we can see that there was an increase between 2010 and 2011, after which the sales are actually declining. So the original increase in the sales that we were seeing year on year, we now know has been due to inflation, not to increased activity on the part of the organisation. An alternative approach to this is that we could have converted all of our prices to 2014. And we could have made 2014 the base year. So using the same method as we've used previously, we multiply by the index of the year that we're converting to, and we divide by the index of the year that we're actually looking at. So if we want to convert 2010 figures to 2014, multiply by the index for 2014, divide by the index for 2010. For 2011, multiply by the index for 2014, divide by the index for 2011. For 2014, multiply, sorry, that's a mistake, that should actually read 2012. So for 2012, we multiply by the index of 2014, divide by the index for 2012. For 2013, multiply by the index for 2014, divide by the index for 2013. And finally, because we're converting them to 2014 prices, 869 is the 2014 price. So what we have done here is, rather than converting them all to 2010, we've converted them all to 2014. We can see there is a similar pattern. 2010-11 saw an increase. There is a slight decrease between 11 and 12, it's just not showing it due to roundings, and then decrease year on year after that. So the main thing is that we're converting all the figures to a common price level, where the effects of inflation is the same within each year. And then we can compare and decide whether the changes in our figures are due to inflation or are due to some other reason. And that brings us to the end of this recording on index numbers.